Today we're going to talk about left tackle Bobby Evans entering the NFL draft and what that means for Oklahoma's offensive line, and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we're going to talk about Oklahoma offensive tackle Bobby Evans deciding to enter the NFL draft early. That means that Oklahoma returns just one starter on its offensive line, as both tackles have declared for the 2019 NFL draft. Ben Powers and Drew Samia are graduating. They will also be draft picks in this NFL draft. And Bill Bedenbaugh is going to have to earn his paycheck once again. Now, Bill Bedenbaugh and Georgia offensive line coach Sam Pittman are among the highest paid offensive line coaches in college football, and for good reason. They routinely put out the best offensive lines in football, along with places like Alabama. But Bill Bedenbaugh really is going to have to depend on his ability to coach them up and evaluate talent. Because one of the things that I have come to believe about Bill Bedenbaugh is that whoever he wants to play on the line, at whatever position he wants to play on the line, is who you want on the line. Him with offensive linemen is like Lincoln Riley with quarterbacks. You just trust their judgment and you let it go, because all it's done is turn into gold. You've had unanimous All-Americans on that line. You've had All-Americans in the last 2 seasons on that line. You won a Joe Moore Award with the line in 2018. And every year they can run the football because of what is on the offensive line. Who could step into those roles? Well, you have lots of options, lots of redshirt freshmen, some redshirt sophomores, and of course, guys that redshirted last season. I'm talking about Bray Walker, I'm talking about Daryl Simpson, I'm talking about Marquise Hayes, I am talking about Eric Swinson, Tyrese Robinson, Adrian Ely, and I'm sure somebody who I have forgotten right now just off the top of my head because, well, we knew what the offensive line was in 2018, and it was a bunch of seasoned vets and one pretty natural, just awesome center in Creed Humphrey. And I got another video coming where I talk with Jerry Ostrowski at length about what makes Creed Humphrey so special, not just as a center, but as an offensive lineman. But I also think this is interesting when we're talking about who is going to be the starting quarterback at Oklahoma in 2019. And I'm throwing out the Kyler Murray is returning to Oklahoma narrative because it just seems to be more nonsensical to me for a number of reasons, which we'll just run through them right quick. One, the Oakland Athletics expect Kyler Murray to put his name in to the NFL draft by the time this video drops or sometime before Sunday. And even if he doesn't, they fully expect the man to report to spring training on February 15th. School is in session, if you hadn't noticed, at Oklahoma during February. So what you would be asking Kyler Murray to do is play pro baseball in the spring, play pro baseball in the summer, enroll in the fall, and then show up and ask Lincoln Riley to hand him the keys to the offense. Be a bold move. I wouldn't put it past Lincoln Riley to do something like that, but it's causing all kinds of headaches inside the program, and I don't necessarily think that even a guy like Kyler Murray is completely worth it with the kind of offensive line you will have at your disposal. It's one of the other reasons that I bring it up. As good as the defense might be with Alex Grinch and the defensive coordinator, in the defensive situation such as it is with the returning starters that you have, it ain't the kind for which you can bank on getting back to the college football playoff and competing with the likes of Dabo Swinney's Clemson and Nick Saban's Alabama. I don't think you want to take that risk if you're Kyler Murray. However, if you have Jalen Hurts back there, who is a seasoned vet, you might feel better. If you got Austin Kendall back there as a seasoned vet, even though he does not have the starts or the national championship ring to go along with it, you know what you have. And you're not probably going to throw Spencer Rattler back there because he's going to arrive in the summer, and you would love to redshirt your quarterbacks. I would. I know that Lincoln Riley likes to do that because he's shown he's done that in the past. So I really think it's up to Austin Kendall, Tanner Mordecai, and if a transfer quarterback ends up at Oklahoma, that's your race. And with the offensive line, I don't necessarily think that you want to throw your best back there unless that dude has been used to playing football at this level for a long time. Now, who else could we be thinking of when we're talking about the offensive line? Could you take in an offensive line transfer? You absolutely could. You're also bringing in some pups to the offensive line that I don't necessarily think are going to battle for starting positions. As much as I love EJ Ndoma Ugar and I like Stacey Wilkins and I like Marcus Alexander, I just don't see it maybe Finley Felix, who's an offensive tackle who will bring in, but we also saw that Bill Bedenbaugh brought in a couple of offensive linemen out of the JUCO ranks. None of them played in 2018, and Tremonda Moore's gone. So you're looking at a guy like David Swaby, perhaps, but I wouldn't really bank on that either. So you're going to have, at the very least, an offensive line that lacks experience and is going to depend on its left-handed center to do a lot more work than he was dependent on to do last season. I think Creed Humphrey's up for the challenge, but I'm not necessarily certain that the offensive line is going to be as good as it's been for the last 2 years. Now, on top of all of this is the outline thought in my head about, the number of guys that Oklahoma has returning, but you're also up to 4 early enrollees in the draft, or I guess you should say early entrants into the draft, in Rodney Anderson, who most folks forgot about, but, because that dude was gone in November, we get it, but he, for our purposes, is declaring early. Bobby Evans, Cody Ford, and Marquise Brown, and possibly and probably likely a 5th in Kyler Murray. Lincoln Riley's getting to the position that Georgia and Alabama is getting into, if they haven't been there already, in which you can expect 5 to 6 to 7 guys to decide to declare early and go get their millions. And that is putting another emphasis on recruiting, and you have to get it right, and you have to get guys that you can depend on to play at the very least as sophomores, if not by the time they're redshirt sophomores, be ready to go. And that is the way that you have to recruit going forward. And I think Lincoln Riley is woke to that, even if fans aren't necessarily. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.